Hi fellow traders, well, it's time for me to share with you that presentation that I've been promising you guys for the last couple of weeks. It's going to share with you my strategies and my rules that I used when I was trading my small account in SureTrader. But the good thing is, and the beautiful thing about this is, it can work with any other broker. You know, now you guys have options. You know, you don't have to trade with SureTrader. And when I started, that was it. That's all I had. And I had to make a tough decision to get with them. Now, I didn't want to send my money overseas. I wasn't comfortable doing that. I'm still not comfortable doing that. Still not comfortable having money overseas. But the reality is, if you're like me, when I started, and if you guys are watching me, you probably are in that same boat. You're gonna have to deal with an offshore broker, and you're gonna have to, you know, bite the bullet. But there's certain things that you can do to help make you feel a little bit more comfortable and to manage the situation. That's what I'm going to share with you as well. So you know, I started back in 2014, I'm sorry, with SureTrader. This January to be 5 years. And believe me, I've been through some crap. Okay, when I started with them, they had like 6 employees. They had this huge influx of new, inexperienced traders, me being one of them, that Tim Sykes brought in. And it devastated this broker. You know, they were just really getting off their feet good, and they weren't ready for this growth. And so I've been through every growing pain that company has ever been through. And yeah, I came close to just quitting so many times, but I realized that, you know, this was a lot bigger. My reason for trading was a lot bigger than me dealing with some crazy ass broker. It was bigger than that. So I made a decision to make that broker work for me versus me working for it. And you could do the same thing with any broker. It doesn't matter who you're with. I know I'm using SureTrader's name because that's who I've been with, but it doesn't have to be that. You can put any broker in there. You have to make them work for you versus you working for them. Now, all brokers work, you know, they operate with some degree of conflict of interest. Okay, they all do. It's just taking those things, recognizing them, taking it, and making it work for you. And if you do that, you're going to be part of that 10% that's successful. So what I'm telling you and what I'm sharing with you today is from the heart. It's exactly what I've done. It's exactly what I do every day. It's what I, you know, share with you guys live in chat every day. It's why I'm so passionate about showing you exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, and trying to be that example. You know, that when it's not time to trade, you pack up and go. You find something else to do. Stay safe. That's, you know, what I'm trying to do. And with this, I'm not trying to do anything different. So just sit back and chill out. Listen to this presentation. At the end, I'm going to give you a special offer. So you may want to, you know, something that you may want to take advantage of. So the things that I'm teaching you today, I'm sharing with you today, you'll be able to see put in action every day. Because in this industry, I had to adopt a philosophy. Believe none of what you read and only half of what you see. Unless it's happening live in front of your face. And then you need to take it with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, our industry is full of frauds. And it hasn't just started. It's been that way. I mean, I've been watching American Greed for years, and these people have been around forever. So it's not something that's new. It's always been around. But I think people are being smarter now. They're smarter about what they're looking for and what they buy into. And you guys are getting better about not buying the lie. So that is a beautiful thing. And to see more people out here doing kind of the same thing that I'm doing, wanting to share, be live and in color with you, that I think is going to be the future. So just sit back and relax, enjoy this presentation. I hope you get a lot from it. And remember, wait to the end, and I will share with you the special that I have for you. Let's get started here. Again, I'm using SureTrader because that's the broker that I started with. That's the one I'm still using for my small account. But this will relate to any broker that works with traders who are unable to meet PDT guidelines. So it doesn't matter who you trade with. What I'm going to share with you today is going to be relevant. Okay, I say it's my secrets to making money with them. Secrets is one of those buzzwords that people look for, but it's no secret. It's all right there, in black and white. You just, really have to find it. So before we get too far, let's take care of some legal stuff here. I am not a SureTrader affiliate. Let me repeat that. I am not a SureTrader affiliate, nor do I have any other relationship with them other than being a longtime client. That's it. They may not know me from any other average Joe, but I gotta put that out there. I don't make any money from them. Matter of fact, I have no affiliation with any company that has anything to do with trading. To me, that is a conflict of interest, and I stay away from that. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not a registered broker, so I'm not going to provide any investment or financial advice or make investment recommendations. I do not share any information pertaining to my personal investment accounts. AJT is not in the business of transaction trades for anybody else other than me. I only trade for me. Nor does any service I provide constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, promotion, or endorsement of any particular security, other investment product, transaction, or investment. I'm a licensed professional educator in the state of South Carolina, and everything that I'm sharing with you today and anytime is for your education only. All right? So those of you who pop in, who don't really know who I am, you don't know my backstory, real quick, I'm a professional educator, as I stated, as well as an automotive engineer. I've been in and out of the market since 1999, but I started day trading full time alongside my daily job in 2014. I use what I've learned in strategies and processes and reflection that I brought from my engineering and education career into my trading career. And I feel these have been the keys to my success. Now, I took several education programs to learn the fundamentals of day trading, and through that, I've been able to define myself using everything that I brought with me, everything that I learned about the market, as someone who specializes in trading and growing a small account. Now, back in 2014, like I said, that's when I started with SureTrader. I had $1,500. I had a $1,500 bonus check The only bonus check I ever got from school. I had to refund that account 5 or 6 times. It wasn't a complete exit and then, or complete drawdown and then add back. I would lose some money, then I would add some back when I made some extra money on the side. One of the things that I learned from one of the videos Tim Sykes did back in the day was you always want to have a secondary job or something, a part-time job that you could fund your trading while you learn. And that's kind of what I did. I worked on cars. I could do that. And that's kind of the direction I went. And so I was able to put money in at different points based on the side work I did. But by the end of 2014, I had $9,800 in my account. I mean, I worked. Now, I didn't make $9,800. That's how much I had in there. So I did start making a profit toward the end of 2014. I kind of had put everything together by then. And by 2015, I started with $5,000 and I grew it to $75K in about 8 months. That journey is well documented. As I was doing it, I was sharing it in my blog. Eventually, I started doing videos to, share what I was doing. The interview I did with Ross that talks about this, that's still out there. You just have to search. It's on, Warrior Trading's website. Just search for Ed because they changed my name. So you can see that there. I currently run a day trading education community, Average Joe Trading. And in there, I started over multiple times in my SureTrader account and grew it. Started over and grew it. Started over and grew it. Recently, at the beginning of the summer, I started with $1,000. And that almost broke me. I'm not going to lie. It almost broke my spirit. And, if you kind of hung with me through that period, I shared with you everything I learned about, the mistakes. I let that $1,000 just get in my head and work with me. And that's one of the dangers of starting with a smaller account. And you end up focusing on the wrong things. I never started really trading with that smaller amount, and it really ate away at me. But to date, I'm just over $3,000. So, and we've been really making progress here the last couple of weeks. The market is back. Earnings are kicking off. We have some really good volatility, sneak up for a couple of days. So we're really looking for some more moving forward. So what is SureTrader really? There's a big debate about whether SureTrader is one big simulator. Is SureTrader prop firm in disguise? Just all kind of crazy stuff. Honestly, when you trade with a broker on their trading platform, that's a damn simulator. Okay, that's not the real market. That's a simulation of the market that you're trading in. So technically, we're all trading on a simulator. The only difference is we're getting paid. The orders that we do that do go through that that goes through the platform that we use, eventually makes it to the open market. All brokers have a house route. All brokers can fill orders within house, can match up traders. They all have that ability to do that. So there's really, nothing unique about what SureTrader does other than they say, hey, we trade and we may be against you, and we may be your counterparty in a trade. So they actually come out and tell you that. But all brokers work within some degree of a conflict of interest, because their job is to make money off of us and to make us trade as much as we can, as often as we can, because the more we trade, the more money they make. So that's what all brokers do. Brokers, prop firms, doesn't matter. But SureTrader is a Bahamas-based broker dealer regulated by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. Notice we didn't say SEC. So, they do not have to follow any of the rules and regulations that the SEC has. Now, they do have to follow certain rules and regulations in order to be able to do business and, within the markets. They may go through a third party. We may be trading with SureTrader. SureTrader may be going through a different party because they don't have direct access to the markets, and they may not. But the bottom line is that's how they operate. Now, they're a niche broker that appeals to a specific group of traders, new and unfortunately very experienced traders. This is where the problem comes in, guys. This is where things get screwed up. I was one of these guys. I was a new and unfortunately inexperienced trader. I thought all I needed to know was how to buy and sell on that platform, and I could make money. I didn't think about all of the stuff behind it and everything I needed to learn so that I could stay within the guidelines. Had no idea. And this is where all of those problems come in. This is why customer service is bombarded with stupid questions. Questions that we should already know the answers to if we had done our training the right way. But all brokers that cater to newer and inexperienced traders who can't meet the PDT minimum of 25K are gonna have these same issues. Dealing with people like us when we first start and we don't have the experience we need. They also fill that niche for traders who do not qualify for a margin account with the traditional broker. If you don't have good credit worthiness, you're not going to be able to get a margin account with a traditional broker. It's going to be hard to do that. And also international traders who want to trade the U.S. markets, who may not be able to get hooked up with the traditional U.S. broker. So they do fill a niche, and there are other brokers that do fill a niche. But they all have to, go through the same ropes. So, regardless of whether you look at it as a big simulator, a big game, or whatever, believe me, I would not be dealing with them for 5 years if, when I made money, I didn't get it from them. So I've made money, taken money out. I've lost money. It's a cycle, but it works. Now, through it all, they've gone through multiple banks that you wire money to or that they wire money from. They've had their growing pains. They've had, just like us, having organizations that take advantage of us. They've had organizations that took advantage of them and screwed them up and screwed their clients over. And I mean, it's all been one big mess. But the last couple of years, since 2017, I've seen a huge turnaround. So if you've been with them in 2014 and you looked at their website and looked at what things appeared to be then, and you log on now and see what it looks like, it's like night and day. A whole, and that's why I don't get all caught up with the little problems that they having now. Now, yeah, I may go crazy when the buying power gets messed up. I may say a thing or two that I don't like, but just know I've been through hell with these guys. And so I know now it's a hell of a lot better, 1,000% better than it was when I first started. All right, so the first thing that you need to do, first thing you have to do is understand their fee schedule. You got to understand how these fees work. You got to understand how the commissions work. And, yeah, they're a little more expensive than the average broker. No doubt about that. There's no hiding that. But the reality is this. If you want to trade and you don't like what else is out there, these guys you're going to have to deal with. Now, I know, let's see, CME Group, I know theirs is $395 for 0 to 300,000 shares. But look, we're never going to get past this. If you're trading the right way, this is where we're going to stay. This is the range that we're going to be in. And, yeah, once you've been there for a while, you can negotiate down. They will work with you, but you need to have some seniority in there. You can't join and 3 months later go ask them for a break because they're not going to do it. Yeah, they may drop their fees here with the competition coming up that they have, but regardless, whatever it is, whoever you work with, doesn't matter who, you got to know what their fees are. So working with SureTrader, I knew right off the bat, I had to sit down and say, hey, if I have to pay, $4.95 plus the other fees, I average it out. If I'm trading anywhere from 100 to 500 shares, I'm going to average it to be $6. I know it's less than that, but I just averaged it to become a whole number, $6. And so if I go in and out of a trade, it's going to cost me $12. So in my mind, I said, okay, a cost of a trade is going to cost me $15. I just rounded it up. So when I went to take a trade, I didn't need to look for a trade that I can make $30 or $40 on, because that didn't make sense. Why would I look at a trade to make $40, but 15 of it comes off the bottom or the top, however you want to look at it? So, that didn't make sense. So I had to look for and make sure that I was finding trades that would pay me enough to make trading make sense. So that's part of planning your trade. That whole process of planning your trade to make so that you know what your potential is. And that's part of what we teach in the class, the day trading class. But it's very important. So you got to know what the fee schedule is, what the per trade minimum is on this is $4.95. Above that is 1 cent a share. Makes absolutely no sense to trade over 500 shares with this. So that, and we'll talk about this in a minute, that kind of limits what you can do with this. This is one of these handcuffs that you got to wear. If you choose this route, you got to wear these handcuffs. But you got to work with them. You can't take them off just yet. It's just like if you go to prison. If you show that you're consistent, you do the right things, you know what you're doing, you're going to get more freedom. You may become a trustee or something. But that's kind of the feeling. I might not be the best example, but that's kind of the feeling, that you have when you have to deal with these brokers, because you got to think about it. Look at who they're working with. They're working with us. When I started, I had no experience. I could have easily lost my money and some of theirs too. And if they're not willing to take the risk, it's not our, we can't blame them for it. Because we wouldn't take that risk on us either. So their fees are gonna be higher. And that's just the way of doing business. This is like when you go to buy a car. If your credit's bad, you're gonna pay more in finance charges because you are a larger credit risk. We may not be. We may just have gone through some bad times, but we really aren't a bad risk. It doesn't matter. Whatever that number is, that's what it is. So they've got to look at it that way. So the next one, and this is the one that really, really irks me. Commissions, I could care less about. It's a cost of doing business. That's the way you got to look at it. If you're trading and you're worrying about your commissions cost, you're doing something wrong. Commissions are going to be a cost of doing business. As you get better, as you grow, just like any other business, you're going to be able to make better deals, and you're going to be able to reduce those costs, the cost of business. But here's where I get irritated. But I know why they do it. I know why they charge all this money to withdraw your own money. They don't want you wiring out every week or every 2 or 3 days or every time you make a big trade. They don't want you wiring money out. So they make it to where it's uncomfortable for you to do it. Is it right? No, I don't think it's right. But, like I said, it's their business. And that's, one of the ways that I think they rape us. It's conflict of interest. And, but again, one of the things that we have to accept if we want to do business with them. We don't have to do business with them. So, if you decide to trade with them, there's no need to bitch about it because you accepted it. And, that's why I don't bitch about it. I accepted it. I didn't bitch about it. Again, it cost of doing business. I knew once I got my money and once I, had enough to get out, I didn't have to deal with this on a regular basis. Then the inactivity fee. SureTrader has an inactivity fee. I got nailed with it when I first came back over here and I was just trading with SureTrader. I didn't trade in SureTrader for a quarter. I might have taken a couple of trades. I got dinged with a $30 inactivity fee. Okay. I didn't know they had it. I knew SureTrader had it, but I didn't know SureTrader had it. It's cheaper. It was only $30, but here's another fee. Another way of them trying to make you trade. Take as many trades as possible. And so our brokers, not all brokers, but a lot of brokers that cater to day trading, they make money off how many trades you make. So you may incur inactivity fees if you don't trade. So this is another thing that pops up and nails people sometimes. And then the margin and equity call fee, this is what really nails traders and kills small accounts. I mean, kills them. If you have a margin call, automatically $25. If they have to liquidate your position, that's another $25. So most margin calls are going to cost you $50. It's just that simple. There's nothing you can do about it. And hey, I used to be over my margin limits after 3:30. You got to be at 2-to-1. I wouldn't be at 2-to-1, and I was like, I'm gonna hold it to like a quarter till before they start liquidating stuff. That didn't matter. If after 3:30 I was over 2-to-1, once the computer caught it that night, the next morning I wake up, I got a $25 margin call. Okay, it's not SureTrader's fault. I can be mad that they did it, but it's right there in black and white. If you go above 6-to-1 intraday, or you hold it, after 3:30, you're not at 2-to-1, $25. That's it. And if they have to liquidate you or bring you within margin, that's another $25. So you got to pay attention to that. Now they have, the short locate. They can locate shorts for you. That's a pretty hefty fee. It costs more with SureTrader than it does with SpeedTrader or IB. Now here's another one. Overnight short fee. If you hold a position short overnight, you're going to pay that 5% fee plus whatever the 7.5% APR for holding it overnight. So it's right there in black and white. You don't want the Curtis fees, don't hold it overnight. So all of these things you got to understand ahead of time. And a lot of traders never looked at this stuff. They just wanted to trade, so they got in. They took it. Here's more: the credit and debit card. If you're gonna, that's the quickest way to put money in. I've heard people they did it at like 8:30, and by 10:30, the money has hit their account. A credit card. It does cost 3.5%, but you don't have to use it. You can wire it and it not cost you anything. But this is a luxury that they allow you to do. So the credit card company probably charges them. So they're going to pass some of those savings on to us. And then you've got Skrill for the international people, no charge on it. NetTeller, international, no charge. And the bank wire, no charge. But you got a minimum. $500 minimum. When I first started, I could send $50 if I wanted to. Now, you can only send $500. So it makes it difficult for us who are trying to grow our account. We don't really have a whole lot of money. If we want to add some money to it, like if we had $200, we couldn't do that. It's got to be $500 minimum. So it'll be hard for you having to save it and then try to send it. But understanding this is something else that new traders need to understand. All right, the withdrawal policy. This is what catches everybody off guard. It caught me off guard at first when I did my first withdrawal. And it tells you got to read it up front. It's not that they're not going to not give you your money, but there are rules that you have to go by. So if you make a deposit and you haven't placed any trades within 90 days, you can get your full refund back, no fees. Anytime after 90 days, you got to pay that inactivity fee, and they may charge you to withdraw your money. But you got 90 days to deal with it free. If you made a deposit, place trades, and want to take money out, then you're gonna have to pay the fee, and you may have to wait for 2 business days, sometimes 3. I've had it take 5 days for trades to settle before you can get your money back. So you gotta wait. If you actively trading and you're trying to take money out from trades you just made, you gotta wait for those trades to settle. And that's everybody does business that way. So, but if you made a deposit through bank wire, you're gonna have to wait 10 days, maybe more. Okay, it's all because of the computer system and how long it takes things to post. And all banks are different. Now, you can get refunds back to your card, and we'll talk more about that later. But you can get that back on your card up to the amount you actually put in it. So if you did a deposit of $500 via credit card, make $300 profit, want to withdraw $800, they'll send $500 to the original card as a refund, because that's how much you originally put in, and the rest of the money will be sent by bank wire. So that's all you can do back to your card. You got to wire the money out, once you hit that back into your card. Once you hit the max that you deposited on your card. So you can only do a refund one time up to the maximum amount. Once it's done, it's all wire. And they told you they charge $40 fee for bank wires. That's wiring it out. Most banks don't charge you to wire, so you could usually do that free. They have a minimum to withdraw, which is $100. You try to withdraw $50, they're gonna laugh at you. And so you don't want to do that. So all of this is laid out. You gotta learn this. I didn't learn it, and I fell on the wrong side of it a couple times. It's easy to think they're messing with you. It's easy to think that they're playing games with you, but that's not the case. That's their way of doing business. And if we chose to work with them, then we got to accept it. And we use that to benefit us, not benefit them. If we work around it and work around all of these limitations, then we'll be fine. But if we want to challenge it, we're going to end up being pissed off and a disgruntled trader. All right, so you want to make sure you understand the margin rules and information. Leverage can only be used on accounts with equity exceeding $500. If you don't have $500, when you look at your buying power and everything, it's still going to show you got 6-1. Don't use it. Just because it's there, don't use it. You know whether your equity is below 500 or not. If it is, then you can get in a trade. But once the computer catches you, it will liquidate your position and you will be charged that $50. And on top of that, you could have made money on the trade. You could be up $300. But if your equity is below 500 and you got in that trade, they don't have to pay you a dime. That's their rule. Now, I haven't seen it exercised yet. I haven't had anybody tell me that they've exercised that rule yet. But there have been traders that tried to take a trade. They only had like $200 or $300 in their account. It allowed them to get in. Once the computer caught them, it liquidated their account, and that was it. They got charged that 25 plus 25, and they were done. Any accounts with $100, like $100 or less, they will, liquidate and deactivate it. So you can't let your account drop below 100. If you do, you're pretty much done. That's why I really don't recommend you trying to trade with $500, because your first trade, if it's a losing trade, then you're done until you get another $500 together to deposit it. They do the 250 rule like everybody else, so that should not be a shock. They only allow 61 on stocks above $3. There again, there's some people that will go in using margin on a $2 stock. The computer lets them do it, but once it gets caught, you're going to catch them fees. So you got to make sure you understand what fees you can run into and that you stay on the right side of things. They will restrict margin on stocks that they feel are too risky. They have the right to do that because the margin is not your money. The margin is their money they're lending you. And if they are not willing to lend it to you, then there's nothing we can do about it. Short positions are subject to buy-ins at the discretion of their risk team. That happens at every broker. As a matter of fact, I'm worried about my Tesla short because, the last time this happened, they got cold feet and they bought me in, and I lost like $3,800. And then 2 days later, the damn stock tanks. I'm worried that that's going to happen again. But any broker can do that. That's just not SureTrader. They all do that. So with them, again, I told you about the 2-to-1 margin after 330. Don't risk it. Don't try it because you will pay the price. Don't use margin under 500 equity. The system will let you do it. Just don't do it. Not to beat a dead horse with this, I started with the fee structure because this is what kills most new traders. This is where you hear SureTrader stealing their money, or whatever broker they're dealing with stealing their money. They're doing things, they're not on the level, and it's all because they don't understand what the flags are. What's going to flag a margin call? You really need to know this before you even take your first trade. So just be careful and stay, within all of these guidelines for whatever broker you're using. Just make sure you stay with it, especially SureTrader. Just stay within it. Now this has gone to 8 o'clock. I don't know if it's going to go back to 9, but right now you can start at 8. Use full margin and you don't have to worry about it. So it's 8 to 3:30. And then, they've got aftermarket trading until 6, but you got to be at 2-to-1 by 3:30. So now let's look at the online software that you need. Now, I never ever recommend using Active Web or the web-based one because not that it's bad. It's not as reliable as the desktop. Active Web is only as good as your web connection. If your web connection is intermittent, then this is going to be more reactive to it. Now, the desktop, it can withstand a little bit, and it will, be finicky at times. But I don't really like recommending the web-based. Now, I used it in the beginning because I was at work. I couldn't download the desktop on my computer at work. And it wasn't until I was able to afford my own computer to bring and have where I could have downloaded my the app and all of that. But, you know, if you have to use it, it's fine. Just be very, very careful with it. I remember trying to use it at work, and, you know, our web was just real finicky. With the whole school using it, you know, it can kind of be crazy sometimes. So I would be in a trade, can't get out. I can't log into the platform, log back in, because everybody's using the internet at school. So it kind of, I had some scary days there for a while. So I always recommend using SureTrader Pro. Plus, it comes with the apps. Okay, it comes with this. You don't have to pay extra for it. So you can download the Android or iPhone app that's already paid for with SureTrader Pro. Next, you're going to get level 1 comes with it. All the level 1 data is going to be free. Now, if you trade pink sheets, which I don't recommend with SureTrader, we'll talk a little bit more about that. You know, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, some people say you don't need both of these, you just need one. I've always had both, and, you know, never tried it with only using like NASDAQ, you know, so I get both of these. And so I added everything together is like $124 a month. Oh, forgot about this. The $40 access fee. So it's like $49 plus $40 market depth access fee. And then, you know, I've got regional quotes and NASDAQ total view. This is what I've had since I think I went to this platform toward the end of 2014. Might have been sometime in October or September. Yeah, it's not long after school started that year that I had my computer. But I've been using it. Haven't really had any issues out of it. Usually when the desktop is down for SureTrader, it's been down for SpeedTrader. It's been down for IB because I use DOS with IB. And Centerpoint. It seems like if one is affected, all of them are usually affected in terms of the platform. But, you know, that's about the only way I think they're linked is through DOS, the DOS server. All right, so let's get into the rules here. Now, this is the most important, really the most important thing. Do not hold positions overnight. You can if you want to, but I'm telling you how to trade with these guys and make money and not lose it all. You know, not pay them everything you got. You know, and don't even think about swing trading with them. SureTrader is really not, it's really meant for day trading. Not really meant to swing trade and hold positions overnight. Now, why do I say that? Here is a snapshot of somebody, one of the guys I work with. He sent me this last week, as a matter of fact. And you can see this is his day trading. And he held KR overnight. I don't know why, but he held it overnight. Now, here's why you don't want to hold things overnight. This is an unrealized P&L. It was $39. But SureTrader counts it against your profit for the day. So, technically, he booked $39.27 profit that day, but unrealized P&L was $39. So they were only adding 27 cents to his equity. And then overnight, it cost him 10 cents daily margin interest for shorting. So remember, it charges you whatever that percentage is for shorting overnight. Then at the end of the month, he's going to get hit with, or did he use, I don't know if he used his margin. Yeah. He's going to get hit with the other interest at the end of the month. So you see what happened here. Only 17 cents got added to his equity from when he started the day at 938.46. He ended the day 938.62, when technically they should have added $39.27 to it. Now, here's where this becomes an issue. What if you were down $150 on this and you're holding it overnight? Even though this is unrealized, that you haven't taken the loss, at the end of this day, they're going to subtract it from your equity. And when you go in the next day, you're going to be minus that $150 on your equity, which reduces your buying power. And when you're dealing with a small account, that can hurt. So that's why I say do not hold this overnight. Now, they do give it back to you. Okay? That was the equity change. Here, they do give it back to you. Here is the true P&L 4KR for the 22nd. This is when it took out $39 unrealized P&L. Even though it's not a true P&L because it hasn't been realized yet, they still call it a true P&L. Subtracted $43.15. Now, come down here to the 23rd. Here is the 50 shares that he held short overnight. And he covered it at, let's see, $27.77. He bought it at he shorted it at $27.20. Covered it at $27.77, lost 52 cents. So once they did it for this day, it ended up being a $6.40. What it is, they gave him back the $43.15. And negative $43.15. They added $6.40. Somehow they figured it out, and then the true P&L is $36.75. So once the trade is off, the way they figure it, it comes back to normal. Okay, it's back to what it should be. It should be a true P&L of minus $36.75. But you see the process that it goes through and why you shouldn't hold anything overnight, because of how it skews your account the next day. The third day, everything is back to normal. But, why put yourself through that? So for me, I just said no. I'm never holding anything overnight. Now, I've accidentally done it. I've, having multiple screens and the platform is still up. I've accidentally gotten in trades and blamed SureTrader for it. But once I went back and checked, I realized it was my fault. I woke up the next morning, I'm in a position I didn't take, but I still had the platform up, and I'm thinking I'm typing in something else, but I accidentally typed in the SureTrader platform. You know, I've done that before, but it's not. I'll never intentionally hold anything overnight. So rule number 2-1, or rule number 1. Rule number 2-1: do not trade low float, low price stocks. Again, just refer back to this deal where we're talking about stocks below 250. If you're going to short it, you know, anything below 250 is going to count $2.50 per share. Only allow 6-to-1 margin on stocks above $3. Okay, I stay away from low float, low price stocks because what happens is they end up being margin restricted, number one. They're very volatile and can jump up and turn around on you on a dime. They're not trending stocks. For me, the trick was to trade listed stocks that trend, that I could get in on a solid setup and trade the trend on it. And that worked beautifully for me. That's how I was able to consistently grow my account and not take these big drawdowns. Yeah, every now and then I would have a brain fart and lose more than I should have. Still do have brain farts. But what I did was look for the right stocks to trade. And it worked out. I trade higher price stocks with lower, that have larger move potential, with smaller share size, and it works beautifully. You know, that's what I do every day in chat. That's what I look to do every day in chat. You will not see me chasing these small stocks. It's less risk, it's safer, it's more comfortable trading these type stocks. All right, so this is where certain stocks may have higher margin requirements depending on margin restriction and are not fully marginable up to 6-1. That's their discretion. If they don't want to give you credit, they're not going to give it to you. There's nothing you can do about it. There's, it's funny. I trade in TVIX, and then all of a sudden one day, SpeedTrader was restricting margin on it. I'm like, damn. SpeedTrader restricted margin on TVIX, but SureTrader did not restrict margin on TVIX. We looked at it in chat. It was kind of crazy. But all brokers will do that. SureTrader does it on these small stocks because they know the traders that they have, most of them don't have a lot of money. They think trading these smaller dollar stocks with larger position size is a quick way to make money. It is, but it's a quick way to lose it. So you lose it even faster. So that's why my rule 2.1 is do not trade low float, low price stocks. And these are rules that I came up with. Other things, short positions are subject to buy-ins. Again, if it's deemed a risk that they don't want to take and they don't feel you should take it with their money, they'll buy you in. Because the only way you can short is using margin. All right, so again, do trade mid cap plus mid float plus stocks. 2 billion plus is going to be the market cap that I'm looking at. The price is going to be from $20 to $150. Now, obviously, I can't trade $150 stocks with a $1,000 account. That's once you grow your account, you're able to trade these stocks. And these stocks between, say, $70 and $150, they can make multiple point moves. solid moves, real simple, easy to trade, low stress. That's what I want. I don't, I'm not in this because I'm not an adrenaline junkie. No, I'm not in it for the excitement. And the float I'm looking for is anywhere from 25 million to a 2 billion share float. That's kind of the sweet spot that I'm looking for. And once I did that, once I stopped trading penny stocks, that didn't last but like 2 months before I switched up and I started looking at listed stocks, higher price stocks, higher floats, and I haven't looked back since. And then came Rule 3. Kind of goes with the second part of Rule 2. Make sure the profit potential of the stock you're looking to trade offers enough profit potential. You want it to have a decent ATR, average true range. What does a stock usually trade on a normal day? If it only trades 20 cents, 9 times out of 10, when it does get a catalyst and you get a gap, it's not going to really trade much after that gap. So I'm looking for stocks with a larger ATR and windows of opportunity, distance between support and resistance. Like here's the daily pivots here. And so these are windows of opportunity. Stocks move from supply zone to supply zone. And supply zones are where you have buyers and sellers sitting out. And so between these two, here's one, here's another one. And you can see on, after the fact where the chart reacted to these levels. But you can also see it when you're reading the price action as the stock is actually trading. So, you can see here, and obviously it's going to follow the moving averages. That's another level of resistance. And all I'm doing is looking for areas between levels of support and resistance. These are the windows. Here's between 71.45 and 69.40. This was a 2-point potential. So once we got through here, we had a 2-point potential here. And so why not trade that? Here's a 1-point potential. Why not trade that potential? It's, you could say it's easy as pie, but you got to have the patience and the discipline. That's where the hard work comes in. Having the patience and the discipline to trade these things. So rule number 4, do not overtrade. This is a snapshot of a guy who completely overtraded. 29 tickets. No way in hell you should have 29 tickets. Okay, just crazy. $114 in commissions. You add all of that and the trade fees up. It's crazy. I mean, just crazy. What's that? $140? Over $140 in fees. And here you go. This is what happens when you get caught holding something past 330. There's no $25 for a liquidation fee, but there's $25 for holding this thing past 330. I mean, just crazy. Just crazy. But this is what I try to get you guys to stay away from. To really stay away from it. Here's a guy, all these damn tickets, Okay, he had, let's see, realized P&L, $157. Now, and all of it was here, 24 tickets on one stop. Made $203, but look at the commissions here. And then held some overnight. Why? And then you incurred this. And I remember what happened. He held some overnight, and it ended up being more than 2-to-1. Didn't calculate it right. So they had a margin call on this. I'm sorry. He took it off after 3:30. So he had a margin call on this and then held it overnight. So you had 51 cents on daily margin interest. But look at this. Out of all of that, and you only put $34.05 in your account. This is over trading. Really you need to shoot for having no more than, let's see, if you only go in and out, and you're not scaling out, you should only have no more than 8 tickets. If you're scaling, no more than 12. And anything more is just over trading. You're looking for stocks with larger moves. Not trading a lot of times with smaller moves. That's when the commissions start to come into play. And you're not really trading smartly. Not with SureTrader. Now, with a larger account and you're in a different broker with cheaper commissions, you can scalp all day and it wouldn't matter. Because you can make $25 out of each trade and end the day with $200. Making $250 and only have $50 in commissions. But you gotta earn that. If you don't have the money for that account, now you gotta earn it. If you earn it, then you gotta trade using these rules. And this is what I do every day. It's what I try to show you guys in chat every day. So here is how you really make money on this. Okay. Only 3 trades on this. I think this was, let's see, was this the next day? Yeah, only 3 trades on it. Didn't overtrade that day. Only 3 trades on this. Had 1 losing trade. Perfect. Only took off 40. Lost $40 on it. Trade didn't work. You take it off. And so, even with this loss, put in $122.42. Nice. This is how you got to do it. You don't need all these tickets on this, 24 tickets on this same freaking stock right here. Now this day he got 3, only 3 tickets, and nailed it. So do not over trade. All right, rule number 5. This is critical. You guys that are in trades and you're losing and you can't seem to get out, and it's telling you that you don't have enough buying power, a lot of times the system gets crazy, it gets fooled. And the money that you're losing, the unrealized gains on the platform, is going to cause you not to have enough buying power to even get out of the trade. Even if you have a stop loss in place. I've seen stop losses get rejected because people use almost every penny of their buying power. So I say 90% or less is ideal. You know, I started only trading with 4 to 1. When I had those issues early on, I started trading with 4 to 1. And I've never had that issue since. Never. You know, the larger your account gets, the less buying power you're probably going to use. But you've got to grow your account. You know, your whole mindset is growing your account. That's all that matters. So that's rule number 5. Do not use 100% of your buying power. That's not what I didn't do that. Rule number 6. Do not leave too much money in your account. Okay, wire profit out at the end of each month. I don't care if you only made. Now, you got to have a number that you want to keep in your account. No way are you going to want to keep $1,500 in there. Now, let's say you only want to trade at the beginning. You're still getting your feet wet. You're still really learning. You don't really trust yourself 100% yet. Then only leave like $3,000 in there. And then when you get more and more comfortable, you can leave $5,000 in there. Just start at 5 every month and grow it. That's more than enough to trade a lot of these stocks with small size, take big moves, and make money. Guys that's been following me, you've seen me do it. Now, you've seen me do it live. And you haven't had to sit there and watch me replay something. It's something that you see happen. So you know it happens. It can be done. So you just have to be patient. You got to develop that patience in order to get there. You've got to develop that patience. But again, I'm not comfortable leaving a whole lot of money overseas. I don't think you want to be comfortable either. So yeah, you know, have a plan. Know how much you want to keep in there and wire anything over that, out at the end of the month. Now, can you make money trading with SureTrader? Yes, you can. You've got to follow these rules. You can, and like I said, it doesn't even have to be SureTrader. It could be CME Group. It could be any of these other brokers that cater to traders who can't meet the PDT minimum. You know, it doesn't matter. You have to. These are the strategies that's going to keep you safe and consistent and growing. You know, knowing what the fee structure is so you can stay within that. And then you know, following the rules that I shared. That's what you're going to need to do. So here's an example of, this is a typical day. And this isn't perfect trading. I mean, there's some you know, missed opportunities in here. You know, here's a nice opening trade. Ended up selling here too soon. You know, covering too soon. Missed a huge move. Then you're going to jump in. You know, you're going to make mistakes here and there. But, you know, nice trade here. Miss a big move. Fear missing out, what it looks like here. Then, you know, here's a later trade. TVIX. You know, buying some volatility here. That's nice. Had a nice pullback. You know, here, not really being patient. You know, when you get a stock that's trending, you know, the market this day was trending down, you stick with this thing. You know, this is not the type stock you jump in and out of. But, you know, not a lot of clean trading. But, you know, and here's a earnings trade. You know, this is one of the earning strategies that we trade. On 50 shares. Oh, no, how many shares did he take? 300 shares, was it? No, 150. Okay, yeah, on 150 shares of this, made $204. Just on 150 shares. You know, textbook earning strategy, and, you know, caught the meat of the move. And all of this is in a SureTrader account with right at $1,000 equity. That's all that was in it at the time, $1,000. And you make $256.52 that day. Now, every day is not going to be this good, but let's say we only had one trade that day, and we caught this whole move. This could have been a $300 trade on one stock, and then caught it when it rejected, and then held it the rest of the day. This could have been a $500 day on an $1,000 account. Could have increased your account by 500%. Just trading these trades. Now, this is a lower dollar stock, but it had huge move potential. And that's how this thing kind of got on the radar. But, you know, the possibility is there. All right, so now for the good stuff. You know, what I want you guys to do is to come join me live every day as I teach the skills and strategies that you're going to need to be consistently profitable and grow your small account. Doesn't matter whether you're in SureTrader or any of these other brokers. Doesn't matter. If you have a small account, if you're under the PDT rule, I've got a foolproof way kind of growing your account. All it takes is you to do the things that you need to do and be the person that you need to be so you can execute the trades. That's all you got to do. That's why we say anybody can be a trader. You just got to want it. And to want it, you're going to have to develop the patience and the discipline. You're going to have to not want to follow Tom, Dick, and Harry, who's posting trades out the yin yang, and you're trying to figure out, how am I missing this? How am I missing that? You're trying to be a consistently profitable trader. You're trying to grow and, add some stability to your trading. And that's why you don't follow every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And you don't trade, chase social media and all that stuff. So I've got I call it a PDT account special. I couldn't think of anything else, but I wanted to separate it from everything else I have. But what you get 6-month membership to Average Joe Trading Education Community. I want you to give me 6 months, and I'm going to give you 6 months. You're going to get everything that I have to help you grow your account so that you could be consistent and achieve your goals. I'm also going to give you 3 hours of one-on-one mentoring where it's just me and you. We meet, we can go over your trades, we can talk about whatever things you have that's bothering you. You need help setting up your platform, whatever you need it for. It'll be there. Also, you're getting all access to all of the member education videos. You're a full member of the community. So you get access to everything. Now, I'm going to have the link in the description on the video. All you need to do is go to that link and pull it up. But all of this, it's going to cost you $229, which is the cost of a quarterly subscription right now. So basically, for a quarterly subscription, I'm giving you an extra 3 months, 3 hours of one-on-one mentoring, and access to pretty much the whole community. You got access to the whole community. But I can only take, because of the one-on-one deal, so that I can have enough, make sure I have enough time to work with everybody, I can only take 25 people. So once I get 25, I may not ever get 25, who knows? But I have to put that out there just in case. So if I say there is no more, I don't have any more openings, and the link disappears, that's because I've gotten everybody. Now I keep my community small so that I can answer every email and address any issue each one of you guys have that's a member. That's very important to me. So that's why I'm kind of a one-man band. And if you email me, you're going to get me answering. So that's the special. And like I said, all you need to do is go to this special link. It's not on the website to the general public, so you're going to have to use the link to get to it. If you have trouble, just make sure you get with me. So I hope you guys learned a lot, and now you understand what you have to do and what you need to be aware of when you're trading with SureTrader or any other broker like them that caters to these smaller account traders. There are things that you really have to be aware of and work around so that you can be successful. All right, so you guys enjoy the rest of your day or morning or night, depending on when you're watching this, and I will see you in the market.